Let's react to your comments on the 8th roster update of NBA 2K22. I know y'all had some pretty interesting opinions about this one, and it is definitely, in my opinion, this was one of the more interesting roster updates to me because they actually had big rating changes, either dramatic up or down. Most of them were only 1 or 2. There was a bunch of 5, -3, all that stuff. So I'm down to talk about this for a little bit. Let's start with Carl Baverstock. He says, finally Andrew Wiggins gets an update. I also think Draymond Green should get an update even though he's injured because man is a defensive player of the year candidate. So also Zach LA. Oh, I see. Zach LaVine is getting disrespected, man. Should be at least a 91 and DeMar should be a 93. Yeah, a lot of people would be opposed. But if, let's say, Damian Lillard was putting up DeMar's numbers, he would be a kid. God, Carl! Learn how to spell! No, if Damian Lillard was putting up DeMar numbers, he would be a 90, not a 91. I feel like the ratings are too heavily based on names, not the skill of the player and how well they're doing. I was getting salty because I could not read what this guy was trying to tell me. The big one is finally Andrew Wiggins is getting an update. I had said this in the roster update. I don't know if you guys remember this. Andrew Wiggins, we can pull up his stats for a moment. I know y'all hate it when I do that, but I mean, it's basketball. What do you want from me? They should have gave Andrew Wiggins this update, literally for the first 40 games this season, right? They waited until Klay Thompson came back. So obviously Andrew Wiggins' usage is going to go down and his numbers are going to go down. But you wait till he becomes an all-star. People start recognizing him for his game late in the year. So now, statistically, it doesn't make sense. But again, that doesn't necessarily matter because even if you look the last 10 games, 16 points, he's been extremely efficient. 45% from the three-point line, 48% from the field, and he's playing good defense. So he's been an elite defender. He's scoring really efficient. They took him forever to give him that 85 overall. And they should have done that forever ago. That's my beef with that, right? But at the end of the day, I'm happy Wiggins got his 85 overall because he is an all-star. He deserves that all-star rating. It's just annoying that it took him this long to give it to him when he should have got it forever. The next thing we need to talk about, though, is a pretty important one. Westbrook should have stayed as an 81 overall. He's not doing well, but it's still Westbrook by Vidaddy. And then he says, definitely Carmelo's worse than Westbrook, which I had said in the roster update video, so I'm gonna heart that, my boy. I've already gone on a rant for Westbrook for a little bit, but reminder, let's remember how low his rating is, boys. I want to show you this rating and just sit there and watch. Stare at this for a moment. You see this? Hold on. Bro, you see this goddamn rating? Oh my God. Westbrook, no! What happened? It's kind of breaking my heart that Westbrook is this low. Where do I start? This is crazy. 79 overall for Russell Westbrook. A couple years ago was the MVP. Just a couple years ago. Oh my God. Let me pull up his stats in the last 10 games, but it's probably gonna be really bad if we're keeping it real. Russell Westbrook, in the last 10 games where the Lakers have been, losing, he's averaging 17 points per game, which is, let's go by stats one by one. Do you want to do that? We already seen his highlights. We can talk about that another time. We know about his blunders, so we're trying to look at the bright side about Russell Westbrook right now. What are the positives? Okay, we'll go stat by stat. 17 points per game is honestly fine. That's not really that bad because you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on your team. 17 points per game is reasonable for being the third option. And Malik Monk is a way better shooter, so obviously he's going to get a little more touches. So that's okay. 17 points per game honestly isn't that bad. The efficiency, he's a 44% from the field. As an athletic point guard, it's not great, but to be honest with you, it really isn't awful. It's not awful. It's just not good, right? It's okay. It's mediocre. The three-point percentage, in my opinion, we should ignore because if we're keeping it real, he's not a three-point shooter. He shoots 3 threes a game, but he shoots it at 32%, which isn't good. But I mean, Giannis shoots it at 30 or 29%, and no one says a word. Then again, Giannis is dominant. I know. Relax. The three-point percentage doesn't matter because he doesn't shoot a lot, so it doesn't matter. The free throw's bad, but the whole team cannot shoot free throws to save their lives. The assists are 6, but he turns it over 4 times a game, so it does not make it okay. The rebounds are 6. That's fine. I think the biggest thing is the turnovers, and to be honest, though, y'all aren't ready for me to say this. LeBron also only averages 6 assists and 3 turnovers, and no one complains about LeBron turning it over a lot. And LeBron was the one complaining I don't know if y'all remember, LeBron was the one complaining about Russell Westbrook turning the ball over too much. When in reality, LeBron does the exact same thing. I'm just trying to be as fair as possible to Westbrook here, okay? I don't think those stats are a 79 overall. I know he has a lot of problems. I know he makes a lot of mistakes. I know he can be a defensive liability at times, but people also forget the good thing. He has good moments on defense too. Let's not act like he's completely bad on defense, because that's just not true. He has good moments. So like, I think if anything, because he's playing poorly, 80 overall and above. He should never be below an 80. Unless he's averaging like 12 points on 20% and is like turning over like 10 times a game, then maybe. So, Russell Westbrook, at the end of the day, my opinion, he needs to be in the 80 overall club minimum. He should not be below Carmelo Anthony. They're high. Simple as that. So Isaiah Martinez says, I'm a like it. Simons needs an upgrade ASAP. Richie Rich says, Anthony Simons stayed at an 80. Bruh. Fire whoever does 2K ratings. He's been killing it and he doesn't move. Anthony Simons, let's talk about that for a little bit, because that's a wild one. I could not believe they have not changed Anthony Simons. Let me pull him up on 2K. That was insanity. That one I'll never forgive 2K for. He's an 80 overall. Now, let me paint the picture for you. Anthony Simons is 22 years old. Damian Lillard has not played this season, right? So this is the roster. You have a roster of Nurkic. You just got Hart, so it doesn't count. Ignore Hart for a minute. You have Nurkic. You do not have CJ McCollum. And you have Anthony Simons. Those are your two players, because everyone else on this team, no offense, dog water, decent, whatever. And then just a bunch of nobody. Like, I'm sorry, a bunch of nobodies, right? So no offense, this team has no one right now, okay? This team has no one except for Nurkic and Simons, okay? And yet, let's pull up the NBA standings for a moment. Okay. So they are like on clear trajectory to not be in the play-in game or the play-in tournament, right? However, they're 10 seed. This team, I don't care what anybody says, this team has no business being in the 10 seed. The Pelicans should be in the 10 seed over the Blazers. The Spurs have an 87 overall DeJounte Murray. The Kings had a good roster. The Blazers have no business being 10th in the 10th seed right now. And yet they are, because Anthony Simons has been balling last 10 games. 23 points per game, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, which isn't good, 3 rebounds, 44% from the field, which again, just like Russell Westbrook, isn't necessarily great, but he's shooting way more, and that's pretty impressive. And 39% from the 3 is really damn good when you're shooting 11 threes a game. I'm sorry if I'm screaming. That's more than Dame. Bro, tell me that's not cracked out of his mind. And he's one of the fastest players in the NBA. This is a slightly worse, ever so slightly worse Damian Lillard. And he's an 80 overall, and Damian Lillard's a 90. What else is there to say? What more do I have to say to convince you that this rating is insanity? Simons low-key could be an all-star. He's their guy for the next couple years. He's an 86. If anything, he at least needs to be the best player on the team at an 84 overall. Minimum. Oh man, this was a hype roster update. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this was a very sus roster update. I was not the biggest fan of this one.